Hi cuties, what's happening? What is good? We're filming this pretty late today. I thought we could play around with the lighting because yeah, it's been quite harsh over the last couple of days. How are you doing? I hope you're doing amazing. I literally recorded an Empress reading and it just wasn't giving. So I took a break, took some time to pause, and then we're back because I feel like the message is incessant. Like I actually deleted it. I went ahead and continued with my day, but the message is like it's incessant and really persistent. So we're here for my empresses. Let me open up with a sound bowl as usual. Speak from the heart, speak from truth. And yeah, I invite your higher self. I invite your divine feminine energy to gather with us here today. And yeah, any other aspect of yourself that wants to come through will be able to come through. We are going to try and keep this nice and short because it's Friday, so we're going to unwind. Well, we're always unwinding because we're empresses, so but you get the drift, you catch the drift. Let's go. Cool. For my empress is my divine feminine collective. Listen, you're grieving a lot and you're shedding a lot right now, and it's very important that you're holding space for it. It's very important that you're holding space for what is emerging and what is resurfacing, because it's helping you tie up some loose ends, and nothing comes up without utility. We don't have to suppress things, because when we suppress things, we um, lose out on an opportunity to confront things, to confront another layer of things. That's why it is being unearthed in your energy, in your energetic field, in your internal landscape. So allow for that grief to emerge and hold space for it. I feel like you've done so much work around the things that you are confronting right now, around this grief that you're confronting right now. You've done the work. You're different. You're at a different level. You're at the embodiment stages of the higher self that you've called in. And whatever it is you were grieving, I feel like you're grieving something that, or you're grieving a part of your life, and you're grieving something, you're grieving a part of yourself that was severed from this higher self, that was severed from this energy that you are now coming into, that you're now embodying. And because you're embodying this energy, a new timeline, a new life, a new reality, a new relationship to life, God, your higher self, your subtle aspects, your inner child, and all those other finer aspects of yourself. That relationship is coming up, and it has been reconstituted and recalibrated. But in order for you to fully embrace it, you're going to have to confront that grief. You're going to have to confront that grief. And I want you to know that it's safe for you to grieve. You're not who you once were. This grief doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you stuck in the past. It doesn't make you, it doesn't take away anything from your spiritual journey, from your energetic sovereignty. It doesn't. In fact, it allows you to trust, because grief is useful. Everything is useful if we allow for it to emerge and hold space for it and observe it from a place of non-identification. If you identify you with the grief and you don't observe it, then you become the grief. And then you start to think that you're right where you started, and you're not. And you know that, and you can feel that, and you can sense that. Even if your material reality doesn't reflect that back to you, you can sense that things have shifted, that you've shifted, that you're not where you once were and who you once were. You're not where you once were and who you once were, right? So feel this grief. It's emerging for a reason. We have a karmic lunar eclipse coming up on the 7th and 8th of September, depending on where you are. 7th, 8th, we have Saturn just, stationing retrograde, not stationing retrograde, but ingressing into Pisces on the 1st. We have Uranus, coming up, retrograding as well. So lots of retrogrades, lots of, you're revisiting things right now, and not revisiting them because they need to be unearthed, but you are examining, you are looking into the details right now. You are empowering yourself with that analysis, with that examination, with that grief. And you can look back and say, cool, I'm a different person. And that happened to me, and I'm so grateful for that experience, and I carry that with me wherever it is that I'm going. But I also know that I've integrated that into my my life. I've integrated the shadow aspect of myself that was so identified with whatever situation I am grieving right now. I've integrated that. You are now sovereign. You are now whole. There's a balance and a harmony that you've established within yourself. You are embodying unity consciousness right now. You are in your cosmic power. And that is why you can grieve. You can give yourself permission to grieve, because it's safe to do so, because you are empowered to do so, because there is information and data concealed within that grief. And because you are where you are, that grief won't even last long. You're going to observe and hold space and love up on that grief and analyze it and observe it. And then you're just going to watch it move. Because that's what grief is. It's love that needs to be held space for. It doesn't need to be suppressed. I want to pull some cards on this. But that's your message, my beautiful empresses. Grieve. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't take you back to a time that you've evolved from. It doesn't speak to regression of any kind. 3 of Cups. It doesn't speak to regression of any kind. It speaks to your power. Literally 6 of Wands. It speaks to your progress. When you're able to look back at a situation and not become it and view it from a different lens and just like, okay, cool. I take what I take from that situation. That's what grief allows for you to do. 6 of Wands. We also have the 3 of Cups, which speaks to joy and community and sharing. I feel like your guides here and your ancestors, that 3 there, are really cheering you on. They're like, baby, you made it home, look at you triumphing. Oh my God, I see the 7 of Wands as well. What comes up? Okay, we have Temperance, we have the 3 of Wands, we have, okay, that wasn't the 7 of Wands. We have the Star, we have the 6 of Pentacles. This grief is paving a path into something new for you. And that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important. It's reminding you how sovereign you have become. How you can grieve something and not give yourself over to that situation. And not allow your energy to leak out into that situation or that person who caused, who was participating in whatever energy you were cultivating in that space. And now you learn how to give and receive from life in a very harmonious state, which is creating a path for you into this new life and this new reality. You can alchemize and harmonize grief. You can do that. You have permission to do that. Grief is not just some static emotion. Nothing is static. Nothing is stagnant. If you commit to alchemy, then you allow yourself to experience the flow inherent within that energetic frequency, right? No energies are useless. And grief is absolutely powerful if you allow yourself to use it. Yeah, you see, you know your truth. You know your truth. You've closed out a cycle. You're beginning again. This is you. Look at that. So we have the Fool. This speaks to your new beginning. You are moving towards something here with the Three of Wands here, leaping into a timeline where you're sovereign, where you're clear-headed, where you are expansive. This is Aries energy, so it speaks to the first sign of the zodiac, ruled by the sun, ruled by Mars, sovereign, powerful, action-oriented, but action that derives from your truth, because we have here the King of Swords, right? A very sovereign figure, a clear-headed figure, heart-minded figure. You're not thinking from the perspective of grief anymore. You're thinking from heart openness and heart-centeredness. And that's the thing with the heart. It can hold both love and grief simultaneously. So allow for your heart to carry you, for your heart space to expand. You don't have to limit your heart to certain kind of frequencies and emotions. It can hold anything. So use that heart. Use the truth that everything comes together in the heart space. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so powerful when you allow yourself to do that, but you're moving here with the Fool and the Three of Wands into a space of pure sovereignty, clear-headedness, clear-mindedness. I mean, here we have again the Hermit. We also have, what is it? We have the Hermit here, and we have the Temperance card. Ooh, like all of these cards are just so beautiful. And then we also have the Six of Pentacles. So you are learning to, you're embodying balance at this point. What you are embodying, the sovereignty that you're embodying, the truth, which speaks to the Hermit and the King of Swords simultaneously, that you are embodying and moving forward with, is allowing you to be in a relationship of harmony and recalibration with life. So what you embody, the truth that you embody, the love that you embody, the deep knowing that you embody, is what life is reflecting back to you. And you may not necessarily experience this in you may not have necessarily experienced this in your physical and material realm yet, but it's coming. It is here because you've cultivated this internally. We all know the physical world is a lot more dense and things take time to manifest in this temporal in the temporal sense, right? But you know where you are, like between progress, between joy, between healing. I mean, look at this card. This is a card of healing, the Star, the card of miracles, awakening, support, and unexpected help, right? You know where you are in an internal space. You know how much time you have taken to calibrate and cultivate balance and harmony within yourself. This speaks to your inner union, your divine masculine and your divine feminine, the yin and the yang coming together. This speaks to your inner truth. This speaks to you closing out karmic cycles here with the World card, mastering your lessons. And that's why you can learn your grief, because you've actually completed the cycle. The grief is only emerging to create more space so that you can walk into this newness, so that you can embrace this newness, this Fool here and this Three of Wands. It's clearing more and more and more and more space, creating more and more and more and more space. And you can allow yourself to really seep into that and trust that you have closed out the cycle. Trust that you know your truth and you're sovereign in it. Trust that. Grief, allowing grief to emerge, is about trusting yourself. It's about knowing that you don't have to go back into spaces that don't serve you, that you're way past resonating with those spaces that don't serve you, that this is where you are now, balanced, knowing what you're worth, equal giving and receiving, right? Equal giving and receiving. You're not going to allow yourself to give more than you receive, to overextend yourself, to overexert yourself, not towards people, not towards life, not towards anything. You're in your Empress energy. You're embodying your highest truth and living in it and knowing it and walking in it. So what is grief? What is grief but an opportunity to delve deeper into yourself, to express more parts of yourself? Beautiful Empress. You're moving, like you're doing so well. You guys are like, ha, ha, ha. The divine feminine in you is like, yes, you know who you are, and you don't have to take any BS from anything. And then whatever emotion comes up, you know, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You simply have to hold space. You simply have to allow yourself to be. That's all that matters. That's what you're here to do. Let's pull some oracle cards. When you're afraid of your grief, It insinuates that you're still in that karmic cycle and you've ended it, you've closed it. We have the World and the Fool here. And now you can move towards what it is that you truly desire, not what is karmically aligned with you, not what speaks to generational trauma, not what speaks to feeling unsafe. Oftentimes when we feel unsafe, we feel like we have to settle for less than we deserve. We feel that we are unworthy of what we desire because we feel unsafe in desire. But you're not there anymore. You are moving towards what feels good, what feels resonant, what feels aligned. It's gorgeous. Let's get more oracle cards, please. Thank you to our African goddesses for joining us. You know what time it is. Oftentimes we feel like, oh my God, after closing out karmic cycles, like that's the end. And it's not the end. We will have days that are uncomfortable. Yeah, see, alignment. You're coming into alignment here with what it is that you truly desire because you feel safe enough to ask for it. Because each time we think, oh, we want to manifest, we want to call things in, we're stepping into a new reality, a lot of us feel very scared still, you know? And this is why this grief is coming in to say, grieve that part of you that feels scared to ask for what it wants, that feels clear. Yeah, cut cords with that. Look at that. Azuli Danto of etheric cords occupying the position of what we need to release. Cut cords with the part of you that assumes that it needs to settle for less than it deserves because it is afraid of what it desires, because it doesn't feel safe enough to ask. And that's why that grief is emerging. You feel like, oh my God, I'm not gonna ask for what I want. And that's a karmic cycle. It's a karmic cycle of fear, unworthiness, not trusting ourselves, not trusting life, having not cultivated a harmonious relationship with ourselves and life, still fragmented, still wounded, still traumatized. And it's very difficult to navigate safety when we're, to cultivate safety and experience it and create it when we're moving from trauma and unconsciousness and fragmentation. It's safe to grieve because this grief is also allowing you to cut cords with the parts of you that don't resonate anymore. The cycle is over, it's closed. You've mastered the lesson, so you don't have to move in fear anymore. Like I said, the only time we suppress grief is when we really think that we're still there with those people as that person, cultivating those energies, employing that perspective over life and relationship. And we're not those people anymore. So let's get 2 more cards from our African Goddess Rising Oracle. You've made progress. Move like you've made progress. Move like you know you're safe, sweetie. Because it's harvest season. It's harvest season. It's time to sow the seeds and also time to harvest as well. Sow the seeds as you move forward with that 3 of Wands energy. Sow the seeds as you leap forward with that 3 of Wands and Fool energy. Sow the seeds, but also reap what you have sown. And part of reaping is feeling grief, but knowing that it doesn't end there. 1 more card, thank you. We got 2, you just need 1. You have to move like you're different. Move like you're different. Move like you know you're protected. Move like you know you're safe. Move like you know you went to war for yourself and won. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I'm going to take both. So this is radical rebirth and alchemy. You have alchemized, and you can still alchemize grief. You're at the point in your life where you can turn anything into gold. So move like that. Move like you are reborn, like you're new, like you have that fear that used to characterize your experience, that energetic density, that heaviness, that cumbersome energy, that illusion that used to characterize your experience. Move like you have closed out that cycle. Move like you are reborn. Move like you are brand new, straight from the shop, okay? New, fresh perspective. I mean, the King of Swords, that energy is fresh. It's a fresh mind, a clear mind, a sharp mind, a mind that knows the truth. The truth with this hermit that you have sought this. When you were alone in the dark night of the soul, when it was just you and your higher self and you and God and you and your inner child and you and your guys having the necessary conversations, move like you have been through the dark. Move like you've been through the fire. Move like you know the truth and you stepped into it. Move like you're born anew. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, my empresses, for being here with me. I'm going to upload this and wish you a great weekend. If I don't see you before the lunar eclipse, wish you a fantastic lunar eclipse. You deserve the best. You have worked your way into this space. You have earned your spot here, so move like it. We're not suffering anymore. We're not scared anymore. We are beasts, baby. You're a beast. You are a beast. Okay? In the best way possible. In the best way possible. And that's not something that anybody has to tell you. You felt that for yourself. You were there in the dark, alone, hearing the whispers from your soul, getting those downloads, doing that work, cutting those cords. You know that. So there's no need to fear anything anymore. Move like it. Move like it. I love you loads, and I'll see you very, very soon.